Oh yeah, dice. Give me a second. I guess that's kind of important, isn't it? Oh, kids, this is a low rent operation here. Who are we doing next for mid-August? We already did Taurus. We've already done Libra. Already done Aquarius. Libra again. Scorpio. Scorpio, it is your turn. We're going to do mid-August. Spotlights and blind spots. Scorpio. This is your reading. We're going to start with the magnetic poetry. Please check the description box for everything that you need to know, including where you can go to do a comprehensive natal chart, find out your rising moon and Venus sign. You should check those out as well. But let's try the magnetic poetry. Again, we're going to do the spotlights and the blind spots this month. And we will clarify. We got a bunch of stuff for you. So let's see what we got. ER. Somebody might be watching ER or going to the ER. Get a pen and a piece of paper out so you can write down all the words. Morning or AM. Ton of words. Ooh, I sure was generous. Or spirit was generous, I guess. You got something about the water, because there's lake and water here. Oh my gosh, so many. 2 ERs. Okay, so yeah, somebody is going to the ER, the emergency room, or watching ER. Take a look at this. Write them down. You can press the pause button too and write them down if you want. We're going to use the Santa Muerte Tarot for you. Kind of going through my decks, using all my decks instead of, using specific decks for each sign or whatever, and cycling through like 3 of them or something. So that's what we're going to do. Apologies for my nails. I'll be getting them redone shortly. Okay, that's it. That's what we have. So again, Santa Muerte Tarot for you. We're using this camera angle so that you can see me shuffle the cards. This is a thicker card stock, so it's hard to shuffle. Can't bridge it. There's a bridge. Bridge over troubled water. Got the water thing as a whole thing. You got spring, lake, water. Somebody's drinking or not drinking. Trying not to drink, maybe. I don't know. I have Barbie's dream gown. I don't know. Just looking at the words while I'm shuffling here. We will clarify. I'm going to use the Sun Moon Tarot for the spotlights, and then we'll clarify using the Deviant Moon Tarot for the blind spots for you. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. 4 on each side. Oh my god. Sitting in an office chair all day at work. Now I came home to sit in an office chair here. Except this is a little funner. You know, just for fairness for you, I only take flippers and jumpers, maximum of 3. For all intents and purposes, we're only doing 4 on each side, and then we'll clarify. So already, you're very quick on the draw. For our spotlights, first we have the Knight of Cups in the reverse. Not feeling so romantic these days. Somebody's not feeling so romantic towards you. You're not feeling so romantic. Cancer energy there. It's just like, you know, or maybe you're not feeling like you want to rescue somebody. You don't want to be that knight in shining armor. You don't want to be the guy riding in on the white horse. Oh, so you, that's not really your shtick. You like to make sure other people feel empowered rather than feeling as if you have to be that romantic guy. They can say anything with the boombox. Or maybe you're feeling uninspired when it comes to romanticism lately, but you're not taking romantic action towards somebody, or somebody is not taking romantic action towards you. That's definitely highlighted here. I don't know what we're doing here, but you definitely just want to get to it. It's like you're saying, hurry up and get to it. You didn't want to hear me talk so much at the beginning. But there's a feeling as if you keep on, this is a vicious cycle for you. A vicious cycle of not being romantic enough, or feeling as if people don't get sweet with you enough. Could also be a vicious cycle, an unending merry-go-round of crazy, I always call it when we have the World card in the reverse, where there is no change, there is no transition to something new, no ending when it comes to how people view romanticism with you. Everybody has these expectations potentially. That you're going to be this romantic person, or they want you to be, and that just doesn't, you just don't seem to be feeling that action, or maybe you're expecting that action out of somebody, but it doesn't change. It's just a constant cycle in the reverse, you know, as opposed to moving forward. You're always traveling backwards. Ooh, it almost happened again. Did you see it? It almost happened again. Maybe it's a flaw in the system, a character flaw. I just heard maybe it's a character flaw that you're feeling, that you have in that regard. What else in the spotlight? Spotlights for mid-August for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Okay, there we have it. You're really cutting to the chase here. Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. Okay, so there's like this lack of initiation, this absence of an initiation when it comes to spending time, effort, and energy on something. Could be linked to that romanticism. You feel like it's just a vicious cycle that you keep going into, so you're not really offering something tangible to somebody else. Maybe there's a contract that's not beginning because you're not willing to, you know, get into this mindset of sweetness and sweet nothings, and it's kind of falling flat for you, and therefore somebody's not willing to offer their time or energy or effort, or maybe it's not happening for you because there is no initiation of, you know, investment of time, energy, effort, money even. But this is also a contract not beginning, or an agreement not getting not jumping off, or it doesn't have a start point with it. I should have worn my glasses. Maybe I should get my glasses, actually. That looks like a 5. Let me get my glasses here. Christ almighty, Ashley Dawn. It looks like a 5 of Wands, which is conflict. And that's probably actually what you're dealing with here is a bunch of conflict jumping off. It's funny that I said no jumping off point, because you're going to be experiencing some conflict, or there's maybe that's why you're not feeling so hot to trot, is because there's been some fighting going on, and it seems like you're fighting about the same thing over and over again, and it could be that you're not feeling so hot. Yeah, it's a vicious cycle. You don't feel romantic. You're not feeling hot to trot being romantic for somebody. You're not being sweet enough. You're not being romantic enough with somebody. So there's no agreement. There's no start of something where people are investing in each other with their time and their effort and their energy. And the argument goes, well, I'm not doing this because you're not doing this. Well, I'm not doing this because you're not doing this, you know? And it's just like I said, a merry-go-round of crazy. Yeah, so there's an argument. There's an argument that happens because of this. It is the 5. Thank you. Just reading now that I've got my glasses on. Let's look and see what's in your blind spot here, and then we'll clarify. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus in their blind spot. What is in their blind spot? See, you just seem really, really intent on getting things going here. There's a collapse of a belief here. Maybe preconceived notions. You know, I read intuitively, so it's like what I'm hearing in my head while I'm looking and understanding the meanings of the cards at the same time. So here, it's like there's like a collapse of an institution or a traditionalist belief that's happening for you, or a envisioning or redefinition of your philosophies. We'll see what the surrounding cards are. Sometimes this can also be divorce. But it's like, you know, normally this is about highly structured institutions, organizations, institutions such as marriage or religious beliefs, philosophies, sage advice, wisdom, and counsel from the priesthood, that kind of stuff. But when we have it in the reverse, it can also be about the collapse of those things. A re-envisioning of your beliefs and philosophies surrounding something that's normally considered traditional. It could also be non-traditionalist beliefs. In the reverse, it can be something non-conventional that you're starting to observe or starting to encounter. What else do we have with it? Taurus energy on this one. Oh, by the way, this is the fixed signs. I'm not taking them. It's too many. Tell me more. You're in your blind spot, Scorpio. Timing wise, this will be Scorpio season for you. Or this happens, right? Right. 3 cups. There's a celebration attached to this. It's almost as if you're celebrating something unconventional. It's like, you know how people have a bachelorette party or a bachelor party? This is like a divorce party. Again, I'm not trying to attribute this card simply to divorce, but I am going to attribute it to celebrating something that people would normally be grieving. This is, you know, the 3 people getting together and celebrating something, cheersing, having a good time. It can also be 3 female individuals getting together and gossiping, but I'm not seeing a maligned attitude here with the card. There's merriment and joy, celebration. This could be this sometimes considered a wedding shower, a baby shower, or that type of stuff. But it seems, because it's attached to this, as if it's a non-traditional type of shower. You know, if we had the death card here, I would say it's a wake. You know what I mean? Or just something that's like unconventional. Or celebrating the collapse of an institution, or celebrating the collapse, like an actual physical organization. It could be, you know, where something has toppled, the leader is gone, you know, ding dong, the witch is dead, you know. But it kind of seems like this is more like an unconventional celebration, a non-traditionalist celebration. Something you would normally, like I said, something you would normally mourn is something that you're celebrating. You're getting together with people to celebrate. I should have closed that door. I don't know why I'm having to get up 8,000 times during your guys' reading here. I thought I was well prepared. I did have to, like, totally, like, redo my whole desk setup here. I worked on the weekend from home, so. And I work with 3 monitors at home, 4 at my office. So, of course, I had to move my monitors. I had to put everything out. And somehow I just still wasn't prepared, right? What else? Yeah, it's like celebrating not being prepared, or celebrating, you know, something that's normally considered bad. You're going out and you're hanging out with your people and you're tying one on about something like almost like going out because you broke up with somebody and having a good time, you know, letting loose. But it's like a celebration that you would normally not traditionally celebrate. What else? We'll clarify, don't worry. The Deviant Moon has been really talking to me, that deck, when I do the clarification for the blind spots, which is helpful. It's one of the more evocative decks, I find. And I like how small it is because it's nicer to shuffle. It's more versatile when you have small hands. Oh, no. Oh my god, you wanted to talk and now you're not. Here we go. Oh, the Empress in the reverse. There's something about staying in, being shut in, or not being connected with nature. I know a Scorpio who definitely is always out in nature. They are an Empress. It's almost like if you didn't know them personally and know the things about their chart, you would 100% know they had Taurus in their chart. This is Taurus and Libra. So again, Scorpio season. We have Scorpio season again here, because looking, or like in timings. So this is definitely a celebration happening during, it could be your birthday. Like maybe you're celebrating your birthday, but it's almost like normally people would lament getting older at your age. But you're like, heck yeah, you know? But in the reverse, this is being out of touch with nature. Needing to go out in the garden more, needing to go camping, needing to get your feet in the grass, your hands in the dirt. Not feeling inspired artistically, feeling out of touch with your creative side. And there's something about that for you that it seems as if there's a celebration here, or maybe you're looking to celebrate because you feel it will get you inspired in some way. But you know, maybe you've been a little bit more reclusive than normal here. The Empress in the reverse seems to be. The Empress in the reverse with the Hierophant in the reverse. Seems as if there's a collapse of belief about nature, Mother Nature, your innate nature, your creative side. Your ability to make something out of nothing also. I mean, I don't know why I'm getting that here, because that would be the Magician, but it's not. And there's celebration attached to this in some way. And maybe you feel the need to celebrate because normally you would be out in nature and you'd be more in touch with your femininity and with your inspirational side, and so the need to celebrate, you feel like, is going to spark some sense of joy within yourself and give you a sense of inspiration to create more, or to get out more into you know, the outdoors. I mean, this is also, hey, a need to get out in the outdoors because you're not doing it as much as you normally would. Knight of Wands in the reverse, this is inaction. You're not like I said, you're not feeling passionate or inspired. You're not feeling as if you can take inspired, creative, and passionate action towards something. This can also be like a feeling of, attached to this, I would say, creatively impotent. I mean, but also, this is, there's the one guy on YouTube, Tarot Mike, I can't remember. Sometimes I watch him, not always, but he always talks about this as the fire pony. So it's a guy riding in with his big wand there. He rides in as fast as he rides out, you know, but not necessarily feeling super passionate, not taking passionate action towards anything, and not inspired action either. So not feeling super creative. It's just not happening for you, you know. And I would say that given this is beside this, definitely a lack of inspired drive to create anything or act in any one specific way, you know, towards your goals, towards your dreams. There's almost as if it's almost as if there's like a lack of interest here in creating anything or getting outside. It may be because there has been a collapse of a belief in some regard. So there's a celebration that's happening that, or that you're trying to get out more so that you can maybe in hopes of, you know, rekindling that spark of the divine, you know, to get your mojo running again. Okay. Spotlights. Let's take a look. We're going to use the Sun Moon Tarot to clarify that. Like I said, way better size for shuffling cards. I just can't do it, you know. I'm a little person. I'm a little person. Not like that, but you know, I'm short and I have small hands, and you know, sometimes I split a deck in half just to shuffle it and do two separate halves to, you know, shuffle one half over here, shuffle the other half over here, and add them together. God. But, yeah. I didn't like that one. Let's do one more. Knight of Cups in the reverse. Let's take a look over here. Knight of Cups in the reverse. Okay. All right. Knight of Cups in the reverse. Tell us about this. Tell us about this lack of romanticism. There's like this absence of romanticism. You're not feeling very romantic. Not feeling sweet towards somebody. Not feeling as if it's necessary. Thank you. It's as if you're not feeling it's necessary. Cancer energy, Capricorn season. This has kind of been an ongoing issue since Capricorn season. Again, if you haven't heard me say it before, timings for me, if there is a zodiac sign attributed to a card, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been reading tarot for a really long time, and I color outside the lines. I am ruled by time because I am a Capricorn sun. And when I look at cards in the reverse, if they are attributed to a zodiac sign, in the reverse, if I'm looking at a timing, it's like the opposite on the zodiac wheel. So this is a Taurus card. That means if I'm saying it's a certain timing, it's going to be Scorpio season. If it was in the upright, it would be Taurus, you know? But anyway, we've got a Seven of Pentacles in the reverse and a Death in the reverse. Death in the reverse is like a world in the reverse. Yeah, merry-go-round to crazy again. There is no beginning. There is no end. And, you know, there's no change because of that. Unfortunately, there's no transformation. Scorpio, again, in the reverse. These are the fixed signs in the reverse. There's Scorpio in the reverse, Taurus season. So there's something in between Capricorn season and Taurus season that happened that just totally killed the romance for you or for somebody else, where they were just like, no, brakes, put the brakes on this. I'm not into it. I'm not interested in, you know, batting my eyes at you, cooking you dinner. I am definitely not at this point, at this juncture of our career. I am not, you know, making you coffee before you get out of bed in the morning anymore. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, but the problem is that it doesn't end. Everything is exactly the same. There is no change. And, it could be that there was a reconciliation of sorts. You know, the World card in the reverse and the Death card in the reverse can often be reconciliation, like going back to something that would have normally ended, but it didn't. This is not a phoenix rising from the ashes. This is the ashes falling on the phoenix. Do you know? And so looking here, it's as if this is a vicious cycle. This is what this is saying. This is a vicious cycle. And because you're starting to see it, it's become a cyclic, patternized issue of somebody not investing adequate amounts of time and energy in a situation. You're not about it. You're not getting with it. Yeah, and so for you, This could be a part of the reason why the argument is happening, or your response to the conflict. You know? So, yeah. Let's see what else. See, yeah, you're telling me more now. That's the truth. That's the truth. The truth is it's patternized at this point. Somebody is not putting in equal amounts of effort, time, energy, and not even the seeds of effort, time, and energy. They are just assuming that you will pull all the weight. The seeds of investment haven't been planted here. There hasn't been an adequate amount of investment for you. But this is an Aquarian card, Sword of Truth. The Sword of Truth. Tell us more about the truth. Tell us more about the truth. Oh, we almost went a little crazy with the cards there. You want to say a lot about the truth, but you don't. You know, our lips are sealed. Yeah, you don't want to really talk about it, but you don't want to talk. Oh, Empire of the Sun, standing by the shore. Don't want to talk, all I hear is noise. The truth is you don't want to talk about it. And you don't want to keep talking. Oh, yeah, it's like somebody's beating a dead horse about this thing. Seven of Swords in the reverse. You want honesty. You want somebody to be honest with you, and you want to be honest with them. You feel as if it would be inauthentic to be romantic with somebody who isn't putting in any sort of equal effort or any semblance of effort. You're looking for truth and honesty. Let's see, we have the Ace of Swords as truth, and then the Seven of Swords in the reverse is honesty and transparency. You want to be honest and transparent with somebody about the fact that things have not changed. You keep on repeating a cycle with somebody, and you're not moving forward. You seem to be moving backwards in a situation. Anything else on that? Anything else? Yeah, it's like banging your head against the wall, see if it still hurts, you know? But you want to be transparent about stuff, and you want to be honest with somebody about it. You want the romanticism and the feelings and the action that you express, the action that you take to represent the feelings that you have, to be honest, to be truthful, to be accurately represented, but also to be authentic. You want it to be authentic. You want to be genuine when you express your feelings. You don't want to do it just because, you know, you're probably one of those people who doesn't say I love you unless you absolutely 100% mean it. And you're probably not the person who says I love you all the time. Case in point, this is a great example. I watch a lot of YouTube, all right? And I will never for the life of me understand. Now, the Scorpio placement for me is Pluto. So this is not going to, you know, we're not going to relate on this subject. Maybe we will, but probably not from an astrological standpoint. But I do not for the life of me understand how people can go on YouTube and make videos for a handful, hundreds, thousands, millions of people and say, I love you. If that shit is coming out of my mouth, it's because I have selected very carefully to say that to somebody. I've chosen to say that to somebody after mulling it over in my mind and understanding the gravity of those words. That does not come out of my mouth unless I truly mean it. And I don't just throw that around. That shit does not get thrown around frivolously. So for me, it's difficult to understand how some people can just, you know, give out the I love yous to strangers or to people that they've known for a little while or a hot minute or their friends or, you know, friends are a different kind of love, I understand, but you have to really be tight with somebody for a number of years or they have to really like, you know, anyway, it's just not something that I understand. And so you want to be authentic and genuine when you're expressing and taking action towards somebody in a romantic capacity. You know, you want it to be authentic. You don't want to do it just for the sake of, because somebody's bitching and complaining at you, or doesn't feel like you feel the way they feel, or reciprocate simply because it's a Tuesday. Like, it's not your jam, you know? And I hear that, you know, I totally hear that. Anything else? Sorry, I just, sorry about the tangent. It's just sometimes you have to elaborate. This is card vomit. I won't take it. Well, you will take that, though. Okay, 10 of Wands, yeah. You feel a great sense of responsibility to be genuine and transparent and truthful about your feelings and the action that you take to express your feelings. And it's actually burdensome for you to see a pattern with somebody where they're not investing. And this, by the way, I mean, this could be money as well, but it could be that somebody's not sharing any. This is not a 6, this is a 7, although sometimes reversals can be seen as a preceding card. You know, when somebody isn't investing equitably in a relationship, time, money, effort, energy, that's a problem for you. And it becomes burdensome when you begin to see that it's a continuous pattern. And so that can actually absolutely 100% kill your inspiration to express romantic feelings for someone. You might be losing that loving feeling, you know? But you've got a heavy burden. You have a responsibility to be authentic and truthful to yourself, but also to other people, you know? And if you're not feeling it, you're not going to feign it just to appease somebody. On this Pentacle, this Ace of Pentacles here, what do we got? Sorry, I'm leaning on my table, on my desk here, because this is a crappy office chair and I need a better one. You know, it's funny. I've worked in my home office for so many years with such shitty office chairs. It's like the one thing that I won't give myself, right? When it's probably the one thing I really need. Yeah. Okay. I thought we had a flipper. You can see it, but I didn't because I was looking away. You didn't see it at first. You weren't watching. You weren't paying attention at first. You thought it would take. You thought it would take care of itself. 3 swords in the reverse. The offer, the contract, the initiation of this initial investment. The initial investment didn't happen because somebody was just coming off the heels of a heartbreak and had just healed from a heartbreak. And they may have been prepared. They thought they were prepared to offer a contract or investment, or they may have received one elsewhere. They could have also done like, you know, they might have done like a switcheroo, you know, where at first they weren't into it. And then all of a sudden after a very brief period of healing, because it's not a 4, they were of 2 minds. And then all of a sudden they did the old switcheroo on you. And instead of giving that tangible coin, that first offer, that first, you know, piece of something that you could hold on to, And this could, you know, be the opposite. It could be you. Switcheroo happened. And then they were like, actually, you know what? Wait. Yeah, let's do that. You know? What else? So they were of two minds. Because they had had such a brief period of healing after some heartbreak that they just didn't, something painful, something that was really troubling. And it was in their thoughts, though it wasn't necessarily with the Chariot. Yeah, they weren't moving forward enough. They didn't do enough, they hadn't made enough progress. Chariot in the reverse, they were feeling stagnant, stuck, so they may have felt like moving into the beginnings of something, a contract agreement, starting to offer a little bit of their time or energy or effort, you know, to start something tangible, something you can see, touch, taste, feel, would have helped them to move forward in some way, energetically or otherwise. Cancer energy again. Cancer card in the reverse, Capricorn season. Timing again. But, and this is a Cancer card, by the way, in case you were wondering what hell I was talking about. But they remain stuck and stagnant in some way. This could also be where there's been an absence of change of address. This is always my address change card. This is always travel as well, but more often than not, it's relocation. This person still was not relocating, still was not traveling, still was not moving forward, still, think still, stagnant. So even though they pulled the old, you know, one hand behind the back, one hand in front of them, and changing the hands there, they didn't move forward. There was no progress in a situation with their energy, with their mood, with their life. You know what I mean? They probably were still singing the same old song. You know what I mean? Okay. This is the Page of Pentacles here we have. And so they still couldn't offer you something tangible, but they also were not able to speak something tangible. This is always, for me, a gift. A peace offering, a timepiece, the Page of Pentacles. So it's almost as if there was something. I also see this as a timepiece sometimes, so like a watch or a pocket watch, or, you know, but it's somebody giving you something like for what it's worth, or, you know, but they're giving you some, they're communicating something like that, like for what it's worth, or blah blah blah. But it's like a consolation, but they're not doing it. They're not communicating something of worth to you. They're not communicating about their time. They're not communicating about their energy. They're not communicating with energy, or, so they're not communicating something tangible to you. There's also a gift that wasn't given here or returned. And then we have the Strength card. I'm about to clarify the Five of Wands, which is the conflict that ensues, but I think that this starts to really bleed into it, doesn't it? The inability to contain the inner beast. Leo energy. Leo season. Here we are in Leo season, right? This is the need for courage and bravery, the need to tame the inner beast of passion and rage. Somebody either is about to lose their temper, or has lost their temper, or is trying to contain their temper during this conflict. So one person's losing their shit in this argument or debate, and somebody else is really trying to keep a lid on their emotions, you know? And they're trying to have courage of conviction, but also courage to stand by, I just said that, courage of conviction, but they're also trying to have, strength in their own self to keep themselves in check when this argument happens. the ability to not lose their cool. What else on this conflict? Tell us more. Tell me anything else about the conflict. No, it was going to be a Nine of Swords. Tell me more about the conflict. Okay. And there you have it. Two of Wands in the reverse. Somebody's growing impatient, waiting. That's why there's anger here. Resentment potentially also. But somebody is having courage to maybe even express that they're growing impatient for this person to start progressing, moving forward with their life, or with something that was initially just a small little piece of something that was of worth that they started. They weren't going to start it at first. They decided they were going to, and it's just so touch and go, and it stops and it's stagnant. It's had to stand still, and now there's just no communication of anything of worth. And damn it, yeah, I can hear it, but damn it, you know what I mean? This is patience in the upright, and it's being able to be in control enough to hold back and wait for the timing to be right to embark on a journey. An inspiring adventure. And in the reverse, it's like sitting on your hands waiting. Just your ass is itching trying to get moving on something, and you're you know, the argument is about somebody not being able to sit and wait for this shit to transpire. Let's look at the Deviant Moon Tarot and look at your blind spots here. This deck talks to me. Okay. Blind spots for you, Scorpio. And we're going to look first at this collapse. What is this collapse? What are you having to re-examine your beliefs about? What is this unconventional belief or philosophy that you're observing lately, or starting to lean more towards lately? Okay, well, let's go with it. People don't want to see shuffling. They want to see card reading. Let's go. What do you got for me on the Hierophant in reverse? Give us some context. Okay. Hierophant for Hierophant. Okay. You're becoming more unconventional about religion. You're becoming more non-traditionalist about things that used to be more rigid in your life, things that you used to feel had to be a certain way, routines that you used to follow to the T. You're becoming more relaxed in something that you used to think had to always be a certain way, had to always be at a certain time, had to always be this, and this. And if it wasn't that way, then you know what I mean? You could also be questioning, you could also be approaching, you know, traditions like marriage, or traditions that have to do with commitment, as if they don't necessarily have to be the conventional way that everybody always does something. You could be seeking the advice of a counselor, therapist, or spiritual leader. about beliefs that you've been questioning. Tell us more. But I really feel like as if this is like you're becoming less regimented in the regimens that you have always participated in with an obsessive precision, like to a fault. You know, always have to be up at this time, always have to go here at this time on this day, always have to do this. You know, and you're trying to relax a little bit in things that, you know, were so structured. It's almost like you're letting loose, letting your hair down in some way. These are things that you always felt were set in stone. Tell us more. Tell us more. Okay. Cancer in the reverse again, Capricorn season. This is something that you're thinking about since Capricorn season, because of all this shit over here, you know. Potentially because you have encountered somebody who was emotional to the point of irrationality, who always claimed to be following their intuition, but it wasn't like that. It was more paranoia than intuition. But that could also be why you had always followed certain routines, guidelines, traditions, religion, is because you felt like if you didn't, then something bad was going to happen. Like I said, paranoia masquerading as intuition. Like you just knew something terrible was going to happen, if it, like the whole world was going to come out from underneath you and swallow you whole if you didn't do things a certain way. Always. This Queen of Cups is an extremely watery individual, Cancer in their chart. But it's somebody who is emotional to the point of it's over emotionality. It's somebody who's always crying and always like, you know, it's just too much. Do you know what I mean? Moodiness, brooding. It can also be somebody who gives away their waters to everybody. The lid is off the cup. The water, the contents are spilling out all over the ground. They're not protecting the waters anymore. They're just letting everybody have access to them. You know, there's no privacy in it, you know? This individual has made you question your traditional beliefs. But they may have also put you in a position where you understand the moderation of that. Tell me more. The need for moderation with it, because we do have a Hierophant in the reverse and a Hierophant in the upright. So it's like you have like these, you're of two minds, right? There's a dichotomous energy with that. This actually could be this person over here. Or this could be, this Hierophant reverse, Hierophant upright could be linked to this Ace of Coins reverse and upright. Same situation. Like if somebody's going to start something, why wouldn't they finish it, is your belief. But now you're starting to see there are two sides of the coin, since Capricorn season up to Scorpio season and Taurus season. Taurus season we had in here somewhere, where it's like you understand that sometimes there are false starts. There are things that, you know, they get off the ground just enough to fall back down on their ass. You know what I mean? That, you know, you can't always finish everything you start. Yeah. Not everybody has the ability to follow through. Thank you. Okay. There we go with the same, you know, vicious cycle shit again. You've been in a vicious cycle with this Queen of Cups individual in the reverse. This Cancerian individual in the reverse. Cancer might be their sign, rising or moon or sun sign. But, you know, there's a moodiness to it. But this Eight of Cups, it's like the Death in the reverse, the World in the reverse, Eight of Cups in the reverse. This is somebody that you've reconciled with. And you're starting to see that maybe it's, you know, you're starting to question whether or not you should continue to walk back to these Eight Cups, because you had already walked away from the Eight Cups. You were seeking your own self-worth and greater emotional fulfillment and wish fulfillment that had to do with your family, your friends, a lover, and a lover who actually could satisfy all of the things that were important to you. But you keep going back to the Eight Cups instead of walking away from them. It's disempowering to you. Aries in the reverse, so Libra season, as we see here, the Empress in the reverse. It seems as if there's like a fear-mongering going on, or like you're, you know, there's tyrannical energy attached here. As if somebody's got you sitting in, like I said before, a paranoid state. Or like, you know, it's like an abuse of power that somebody is enacting here. You're trying to get on a more even keel. That's another Libra card here, Libra in the upright. Six of Pentacles. This is why you're doing this little celebration, get together, time out with friends to, you know, celebrate or have some drinks, let loose a little bit, because you're trying to gain some equilibrium and balance for yourself. A conversation between you and your friends might be about, is this equitable? You have somebody who's really, you keep going back to this person, you keep going back to re-examine a connection, or you keep going back to a connection thinking if you just reinvent it or do it differently that it'll somehow serve your higher good, or that you can do it better. But it's almost as if every time you go back to it, they gain more power and they become more domineering and lead with fear rather than a firm, decisive direction. And it's kind of as if they kind of just railroad you every time that you come back to it. So this is a vicious cycle, a patternized cycle where somebody's kind of a control freak. You know? And that might be a part of the conversation as well, is that you keep going back to this. You keep going back to this. What are you doing? You know? They just, you know, they control everything that you do. They're always shouting and screaming and, you know, stamping their stupid staff and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, they're real dick, and, you know, they really are all about making you afraid and, you know, just controlling what you're doing, it seems like. This is very controlling. And so it's about trying to become more balanced. Where is the give and take? Who's giving and who's taking? And is that equitable? Do you know? This down here, there's just a massive a lack of inspiration going on. There is no inspired creative action being taken. And that's what you don't see, is that it's totally killing your passion, your lust for life, you know? And you're not even feeling as if you can get outside and connect with nature. You're feeling like a shut-in or just super reclusive lately. You don't feel like you can go and connect with your innate feminine side. You're not feeling gentle, and you're also not feeling passionate and virile. You know, tell us why. Sagittarius on this. So this would be Gemini season. Tell us more. Okay. Like for like, here we go. You're looking for an apology. You're looking for an apology. Maybe somebody said something to you about that you were not necessarily a super physically passionate individual. They said something, you're looking for an apology about it. You think that's going to get you, get your motor running again. But it breaks your heart. Something broke your heart. What is this? Something broke your heart, and so you don't do these things anymore. Page of Pentacles in the reverse again. Somebody didn't give you they didn't say something of worth, or they didn't express something of worth to you. Peace offering, timepiece. It's heartbreaking. There's never enough time. Tell me more. There's the apology. Tell me more. There's that whirlwind again in the reverse with the Knight of Cups in the fucking reverse. This is magical. I'm sorry, it's not fucking awesome. This is not awesome. It doesn't feel awesome. But again, this is the cool thing about reading tarot cards. You use 3 different decks with 78 cards and you come up with this cohesive Knight of Cups in the reverse with the World card in the reverse. Knight of Cups in the reverse with the World card in the reverse. Okay. All right. Again, you know, somebody, something broke your heart. And you're not feeling romantic. Because the timepiece, the peace offering, it didn't happen. You're uninspired. You don't go outside anymore. And you're not romantic. You're not sweet anymore. You just keep on, it's a vicious cycle. You're living something over in your head about somebody saying something about your virility or your passion, or if you took passionate action towards something. You can't help it. They try to say sorry about it, or you feel like if they said sorry or they apologized or they said something sweet and gentle to you, that it would make a difference. I don't think it will. Anything else? Final word here. The healing starts within. The healing starts within Aquarius season, so Leo season. The healing starts within. Sorry, you also felt this was pretty unimaginative when it came to what they said. Or if they do offer you a small little apology or something, you feel like it's pretty like the opposite of innovative, unoriginal. Thank you. You feel like it's pretty unoriginal. But it just keeps like I said, bang head against the wall, see if it still hurts. It's unoriginal. The apology that they offer you is unoriginal and inauthentic, and it doesn't heal a damn thing. It doesn't fix anything. You can't unring a bell once it's been rung. Okay. All right, let's get you some no bullshit advice from the Rebel deck. It has swear words. That's why we don't use it till the end. Advice for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And man, oh man, once you freaking try to squeeze, like if you can get through Scorpio's shell and you fucking injure it, you better bet your ass you getting the stinger and it's getting the fuck out of there. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. Once you do that, they never turn back. So whatever happened, you know, it's not nice. Something was said, something was done, said something about how you looked or how you, something about your, not your appearance, but about your passion, about your ability to be sweet and romantic. And if you were being romantic with someone or if you were, it's weird. I didn't realize we were all supposed to be fucking Shakespeare all the time. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of like, you know, people got to stop watching so many goddamn movies and reading so many books about, you got to read real books instead of, you know, the shit that gets people off, and start really realizing that life is real. And life is about more than the imaginary scenes that we make up in our heads, creating false expectations of and unrealistic expectations of what people should be, and start meeting people where they're at. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's my no bullshit advice. You got 4 and I'm not going to give them to you. It wants to give you a 4. I guess we're going to do it, are we? You are giving away your power. You're a badass. Act like it. Okay. Oh, well, I guess you get 5. Don't take 12. Take 1. Okay, maybe 2. And then move on. Take a shot. Take a shot at something. Because fuck it. What is this? Rebel. Because fuck it. Okay, cool. Not going to show that one on there. Okay, you look like a shit show. Someone says you look like a shit show. You're a hot mess. Fact, clean yourself up. All right. Maybe that's what they said to you. Maybe it was like, you know, go suck an egg. And then there, of course, golden rule. Love, one of the many golden rules. Love. Get some, give some. It will cheer your ass up. All right. What's your affirmation? Let's get this shit done and over with. Hooey. I did more, I did less soapboxing and more interpretation on this one. More, you know, channeling and interpretation and intuitive shit than soapboxing. Which normally, it depends on the sign. Sometimes, like, Gemini gets a shit ton of soapboxing because they need it when they get their readings. This is just, I'm so sorry you're dealing with this. Okay, Scorpio. What is your affirmation that you need for mid-August to get you through the rest of the month in one piece? Let's see what we got. Oh, excellent. I am in love. Okay. Tell yourself that you're in love. And if you're not in love with somebody, be in love with yourself. All right. Okay. Fantastic reading. If for nothing else but to affirm that you have oh, what's this? What's this guy over here? The sun. You had the star in the reverse and the sun. So there's yeah. Sorry, I missed that. The sun was over here, just hiding over here in the spotlight for you. You know, you need to go heal and be happy. That's what this is saying. You need to go heal and be happy. Or this person needs to go heal and be happy. Maybe without you. Because this does not look very healthy. But, yeah, I don't know. It just kind of seemed like this was a reading to kind of back up that you've made some solid decisions and that it's okay if you're not feeling horny or like, you know, buying somebody flowers or whatever based on, you know, the fact that they're not really changing or improving themselves. Anyway, all right, cool. We'll see you next. Bye.